This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello viewers, you're watching Pulse of Africa. I'm Gamachisa Mandida for the main news. First, our top stories for today. Ethiopia set a new record by planting over 700 million trees in one day. Kenya and Uganda sign 8 new trade deals to strengthen ties. Africa's CDC and EU launch Mpox testing initiative across Africa. Now the news in detail. Ethiopia set a new record by planting over 700 million trees in one day, surpassing its own previous record. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in the early morning hours unveiled the start of Ethiopia's unprecedented one-day tree planting campaign, aiming to plant 700 million seedlings across the nation. Today, Ethiopians from all walks of life came together for a historic nationwide tree planting campaign. They succeeded in setting a new record by planting over 700 million trees. Ethiopia's Great Legacy Initiative stands as a powerful testament to the nation's unwavering commitment to sustainability, environmental stewardship, and inclusive prosperity. As part of Ethiopia's ambitious Great Legacy Initiative, over 7.5 billion seedlings are set to be planted nationwide this year, with 2.5 billion already in the ground. Over the past 6 years, Ethiopia has planted more than 40 billion trees, demonstrating its enduring commitment to environmental restoration. Kenya and Uganda have signed 8 new bilateral agreements to deepen cooperation in key sectors, including trade, infrastructure, energy, and security. The deals, which build on 17 existing MOUs, were inked in Nairobi during Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni's visit and witnessed by Kenyan President William Ruto. The two leaders emphasized stronger collaboration between national statistics bureaus, greater regional integration under the East African Community (EAC), and joint efforts in peace building and conflict resolution. Museveni urged African youth to tap into the continent's market potential, while both leaders reaffirmed commitments to advancing a customs union, common market, and political federation. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization FAO has allocated $1.2 million to support the digital transformation of Côte d'Ivoire's rice sector. The initiative aims to improve yield tracking, reduce post-harvest losses, and boost farmer access to climate data and markets, according to FAO representative Joseph Niemeyer. The funding will also enable farmland geolocation and automate parts of the rice value chain using digital tools. Despite producing 1.55 million tons in 2024, Côte d'Ivoire still faces a rice supply gap, with demand estimated at up to 2.8 million tons annually. The Africa CDC and European Union Commission have launched a €9.4 million initiative to strengthen diagnostics and outbreak response across the continent. Co-funded under the EU for Health 2024 program, the 3-year project aims to support over 150,000 Mpox tests, boost genomic sequencing, train health workers, and promote local test kit production. Africa CDC Director General Dr. Jean Kasia held the partnership as a strategic move to close diagnostic gaps and build resilient public health systems. The initiative marks the first jointly signed health project between the EU and Africa CDC and follows earlier EU donations of Mpox vaccines and broader pandemic preparedness efforts across Africa. In other news, Austria registered a record 13.38 million overnight stays of guests from home and abroad in June, up by 13.9% from a year earlier as holiday-heavy timing spurred travel, Statistics Austria reported. Quote, This makes June 2025 the month with the highest number of overnight stays since records began in 1972, he said, attributing the tourism boom to 2 public holidays which occurred in June. Of the total overnight stays, 9.35 million were by non-resident guests, mostly from Germany, marking an 18% increase compared to June 2024. At the same time, nights spent by domestic guests rose by 5.2% to 4.03 million. During the first half of this year, the country recorded 76.11 million overnight stays, edging up 0.4% from the previous year, official data showed. China successfully launched a new group of low Earth orbit satellites from the Hainan commercial spacecraft launch site in the southern island province of Hainan on Wednesday. The satellite group, the 6th of its kind that will constitute an internet constellation, was launched aboard a Long March 8A carrier rocket. The satellites entered the preset orbit successfully. The launch marked the 586th mission of the Long March series carrier rockets.
The story of resurgent Ethiopia and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Now to business news. The U.S. Federal Reserve kept its benchmark interest rate steady at 4.25% to 4.5% on Wednesday, resisting pressure from the Trump administration to cut rates. The Fed cited solid labor market conditions, low unemployment, and elevated inflation as key reasons for holding the rate. Despite economic uncertainty, recent data showed the U.S. economy grew at an annual rate of 3% in quarter 2, rebounding from a 0.5% contraction in quarter 1. The Fed reiterated its commitment to maximum employment and returning inflation to its 2% target. Finally, Zambia's government wants to extend its International Monetary Fund program another 12 months beyond its current expiry at the end of October, a cabinet statement said on Wednesday. The copper-rich Southern African nation has been trying to get its public finances back on track with IMF support after running up a huge debt pile. Its 38-month extended credit facility was approved in August 2022 for an initial $1.3 billion, but was later increased to $1.7 billion. So far, about $1.55 billion has been disbursed. The cabinet statement said Finance Minister Situmbeko Musokutwane had been authorized to ask the IMF for the 12-month extension. The objective is to consolidate the gains achieved during the program period into 2026 and help support economic reforms, the statement said. Before concluding, let us provide you with the latest updates on global commodities prices. Now to weather updates. That's all for today, and thanks for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.